Alright, what is going on, my dudes? A bit of a curveball here. We have Ronin for a champion update. This is like a strictly value update here because this guy is already pretty cool. He has a lot of abilities, and there's a lot of people who actually really like Ronin, so that's kind of cool, man. One second. All right, had to make sure everything was plugged in. It is. So yeah, so Ronin, man, that's pretty cool. So let's talk about this guy. Let's jump right in. Another super suicide-friendly champion getting buffed here. About Ronin. Following the events of Avengers Infinity War, Clint Barton is drawn out of retirement to don a new alter ego, Ronin, a lawless assassin with a piercing sword and incredible fighting skills who mercilessly brings criminals to justice around the world. All right, man, pretty cool. So his prestige is pretty crappy. It's still crappy. It's terrible. It's below 10.4 as a 5-star, so I wouldn't recommend giving this guy any stones if you care about prestige whatsoever. But yeah, let's move on here. Let's jump right into it today, guys. So Ronin's mechanics, all right? So Ronin is an offensive damage dealer who specializes in bleeds and critical hits. Very cool. He also has access to 3 unique stances and allow him to quickly switch combat abilities in the heat of battle. Each stance provides Ronin with either improved blocking, offensive utility, or bonus bleed damage. Ronin gains bonus critical damage when moving through each of his stances and will be able to strategically evade enemy attacks when he is at. So, right here, developers note, apply bleed debuffs by striking into your opponent, prepare Ronin's stances, and build up his cruelty effects for a massive attack and critical rating boost. Expertly evade your opponent's strikes to gain even more attack rating and strike when the time is right. Very cool, man. So, Ronin is a very skill-intensive champion. He's one of the tougher champions to play in the game effectively, and he is pretty good once you build him up. It's looking like his build-up is going to be more rewarding now as well, which is really, really cool because he does have that very, risky playstyle. So it's nice when those kind of playstyles do, lead to something better, right? So let's see here. Strengths, on-demand evasion, always great. I've been really loving that mechanic with Spider-Ham lately. I've been playing a lot of Spider-Ham and just like day-to-day stuff, and that on-demand evasion is really, really nice. So Ronin has the ability to predictably evade the attacks of his opponents. When Ronin builds enough cruelty passes moving through his stances, he can spend them to avoid attacks altogether and gain an attack rating boost. In the hands of a skilled player, Ronin has the potential to never receive a single hit in a fight. Cool, that's awesome, man. Utility. Ronin has the ability to parry projectile attacks, which is really, really great for stuff like, Iron Man Infinity War, Yondu, for example, fights like that. Combining Disorient and Wraith Stance will temporarily lower your opponent's defensive ability accuracy by 100%. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. That's really good. So mobility and intercept. Switching between stances is the key to getting the most damage out of Ronin. Doing so requires players to actively be dashing in and out of combat and picking the right moments to engage. As a result, Ronin grants more opportunities to intercept incoming attacks than most champions. So check this out, guys. They talked about that, how the intercepts and weaving in and out of attacks and whatnot, and that's a part of his weaknesses too in his playstyle. Ronin is a very challenging character that constantly tests the player's reflexes and decisions making in the heat of the fight. I personally like very high skill intensive champions, so I'm definitely all about it. I'm very excited to see what he can do after the buff. Abilities. When Ronin would miss an attack or be evaded, he gains a cruelty passive, increasing critical damage by 259, max 7 stacks. So Ronin's all about building up those cruelty stacks, right? And unleashing them at the right moment and doing a lot of damage and whatnot. And there's going to be certain scenarios where he gets those faster. For example, if you're fighting like a spider, right, that's going to be evading, then you can eventually lower their ability accuracy so that they won't be evading anymore. So there's definitely ways around doing that. But this is a new, I believe, intercepting attacks have plus 1400 critical rating. Against bleed immune champions, get a cruelty passive, and Ronin would inflict a bleed. That's why he was always, very speedy against, ramping up against bleed immune champions. However, he can't bleed them, so he loses damage that way. But yeah, he's always had a double-edged sword to him, in my opinion. Developers note sword hit occurs during light 1, 2, 3, medium 1, and heavy attacks. So they're really saying here, never finish your combo. Never go for the second medium or the fourth light attack. You always want to be intercepting and weaving in and out of the fight, essentially. But yeah, stance preparation. Ronin prepares his stance by landing light attacks. Light 1 prepares guard stance. Light 2 prepares wraith stance. And light 3 prepares demon stance. Dodging back after preparing a stance makes Ronin enter a stance. So many times they're saying the word stance. Stances are not affected by ability accuracy reduction. When entering a new stance, gain a cruelty passive, increasing critical damage rating. There we go, same one. When entering a stance, when reaching 7 cruelty passives, gain a precision passive, increasing crit rating by 3,900 for 18 seconds. So essentially, you do the intercept thingy 7 times, you gain this giant precision, and you're pretty much going to be having guaranteed crits at this point. 3,900 precision for 18 seconds. That's a really, really, really good one, okay? And now, let's jump right to the special 3, okay? The special 3 now gain a Fury passive, increasing attack by 615 for 35 seconds. Each active cruelty passive increases the attack rating by an additional 615. That's a lot of attack rating combined with, additional cruelty passives that you can gain after you have that Fury on top of the precision the entire time. So the damage that you can get on this guy is looking like it's going to be very, very juicy. It's looking like a very successful value buff. There are a lot of people who already love using Ronin, who really love what he can do, but the thing is, it's just there's so much build up for not the most payoff, and now this payoff is looking really, really good. So I'm definitely interested to see what he can do after the buff. But yeah, let's see. Guard stance. Well-timed blocks. Activate the parry mastery, stunning opponents even if their attack is projectile-based. Ronin gains plus 35% chance to perfect block. Entering the stance has a 100% chance to purify a debuff. So still only one debuff, I think. I'm not, or maybe it's one of each debuff. Who knows? We'll have to see. We'll have to test it out. But yeah, that's really, really nice because you can do it many, many times, right? But yeah. Rate stance. All attacks reduce defensive ability accuracy by 40%. Now, if you do that with the special 1 here, we'll jump down here really quick. Disorients the opponent, reducing defensive ability accuracy by 60% and block proficiency by 50%. That's a total of 100% defensive ability accuracy reduction, which is very, very useful for a lot of different matchups, okay? So, developers note rate stance provides Ronin with protection versus champions with defensive abilities. We kind of just talked about this. I said what the developer said. Cool. Demon stance. All bleeds gain plus 75% ability accuracy can be inflicted on blocked hits. That's really, really nice, man, when you don't need that utility. Really, really nice. When you are not able to land hits on blocking opponent, Demon Stance provides sustainable source of damage. This ability, however, does not reduce the power that opponents gain when blocking or its attacks, so be sure to keep an eye out for a counter attack. Alright, man. So we talked about the special 1 here. Let's talk about the special 2. Inflict a bleed that deals 800 direct damage over 3.5 seconds for each active cruelty passive. It also removes all the cruelty passives. Developers note Ronin deals large amounts of damage over time with his attack and can place up to as many bleeds on the opponent as he has cruelty passives. Pair this with Demon Stance and bleeds can be inflicted even when the opponent is blocking. That's definitely very, very useful. So yeah, Sig ability, let's talk about that. While it's 7 cruelty passives, Ronin gains an evasion on the next incoming hit for 2 seconds, removes 3 cruelty passives when Ronin invades an attack. Successful evades do not grant stance abilities. When Ronin invades an attack, gain a Fury passive, increasing attack rating by 473 for 12 seconds. So you can have the Fury from the special 3, the Fury from the Sig ability, all of the cruelties, and the precision, and then 7 more cruelties as well. So it's really looking like you can stack a lot of damage here. A lot of damage. Developers note, this evade comes in handy against special attacks that are difficult to avoid. Players can also strategically decide not to activate this evade by blocking attacks or using the Dex Mastery. If players are feeling lucky, they can intentionally set off this evade to gain a temporary attack rating boost. Alright, man. Like it. So there's some synergies here, nothing too crazy. We have synergy with Ronin and Captain Marvel, more, bleed for Ronin, some more crit rating for Captain Marvel when you intercept, Ronin and Ant-Man, some more block proficiency, which is actually kind of nice when you're going for perfect block, and then some more fatigue for Ant-Man here, live and die by the sword, with Ronin, Nightcrawler, and Guillotine. Really nothing going on too much here for any of these champions. The Ronin one's kind of interesting, kind of makes him like Blade. Blocking attacks has a 50% chance to bleed the opponent, dealing 50% of attack as direct damage. Interesting. And then Ronin and a Moon Knight, gain a Fury buff, increasing attack rating by 15% for 4 seconds upon switching phases. That's actually really, really nice for Ronin. And then Moon Knight, 30% chance to instantly regenerate, 35% of damage taken when struck. Don't get hit. And then just Black Widow, some romance. Recommended masteries, Deep Wounds, Despair, and the Suicide Mastery. This guy looking very suicide friendly. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the value buff to Ronin. He's looking like a strict value buff. There's really not much else going on. He's got some like Fury and some other stuff going on now as well. But overall, this is looking like a really, really successful buff. Ronin's already a champion that people already like, so this is just going to give him some more damage, man. So I'm very excited to test this out. Looks really, really cool. Definitely very excited for it. But anyway, my dudes, that's going to be it for this buff breakdown. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop your boy a big ol' like. Comment what you think about the Ronin buff in the comment section below. And make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any other future buff breakdowns and buff gameplay coming to you very, very soon. I'll be seeing you around.